Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. We got some more breaking news. The Raiders, they have signed Eli Apple, and this is a move that I'll be honest, I'm kind of surprised about. I'm curious what you guys have to say in the comments section below on YouTube and to our live audience as well on Facebook. So the deal has yet to come to terms, and when I think about what the Raiders could do, this was a move that I was ultimately not too sure about. Now, you're going to be able to add cornerback depth here, which is what I have in a player like Eli Apple. But, and let me say this, but I'm not quite sure what the Raiders are going to be able to get here in terms of overall production. So, for me, I think that he's going to be that starter next to Trayvon Mullen, who I like a lot. And I could tell, I was in the comments section, we already got 600 people watching us here on the YouTube channel, that, you know, this was one of those moves that, let's be honest, I think we were all a little bit surprised about. So when I think about what he's going to be able to bring here to this team, you're going to be looking at a cornerback who is used to playing a little bit more of man coverage. Now, for those of you that like PFF, I do, appreciate what they do. They have him projected at making around $7 million. Now, I will say this. If we can go out and get the former first rounder who was drafted 10th overall by the New York Giants back in 2016, if we can get him on that 1-year prove-it deal, guess what? I'd probably be a little bit more behind it. So how about this? Let's get some reactions in here. That's what YouTube here is all about. That's what Chat Sports is all about. Give me a one-word reaction to the Raiders signing Eli Apple. Now, I'm going to go through here. I'll give some shout-outs to some of the people. I see Kirby on the mic saying that Apple is not okay. He's bad as, again, another one, rotation cornerback. So no Chris Harris Jr. I'm not sure there. I'm seeing some epic, some wow, some cool, some depth. For me, Eli Apple is right now probably going to be paired up with Trayvon Mullen on the outside. Now, I think Trayvon is no doubt your solid number one cornerback at this point, and Eli is going to be a little bit more in a rotation. We're going to see how Isaiah Johnson, fills out, and Evan Lawson, some of these other players that we do have as depth. But I will say this. Back in 2018, Eli did start to kind of come into his own a little bit. Now, sure, he's never quite lived up to the hype, right? And that's part of it. Plus, he does have some off-the-field concerns, for me at least, when I see it. But in terms of just going out, finding a halfway decent backup cornerback, and potentially a cornerback that's going to be a starter for us, that's okay. Now, again, he has experience playing press man coverage, though, he's not too bad in this past season. Eli Apple was a bit of a surprise to me. I mean, I'm going to be straight up honest with you. So what I tried to do here is throw together the best possible depth chart of some of the moves that the Raiders have made recently. So as it stands right now, this is what I would imagine our depth chart looking like. I still think that the Raiders add some extra pieces to this defense because especially in the secondary, we do need it. I got Mullen now as the cornerback 1. I think you do insert Eli Apple at that cornerback 2 spot. You keep Joyner at the nickel. The Raiders went out, got Jeff Heath yesterday for 2 years, $8 million. And to be honest, I'd actually probably swap Jonathan Abram and Heath at strong safety and free safety. We'll do that there after the show. But when I think about what this team's going to be able to bring you, you're going to get at least getting some excitement. And now the Raiders have made 8 different moves in just a 3-day period. So I understand there's a lot of confusion. I understand there's a lot of people wondering why we went for Apple. But how about this? I want every single person to spam A for Apple. This isn't the home run swing at cornerback I think some of us were hoping for. But I do think that he has at least some sort of upside here. I don't really think you go out and draft a player in the first round for nothing. I know this was a player that Jon Gruden and Mike Mayock both really liked a lot when he first came out of Ohio State. The way that I'm going to look at this, I'm going to trust Mayock. I'm going to trust the defense. I'm going to trust Gruden to make sure that they're doing the right things. So what I want you to do is spam A for Apple because he's in silver and black. And if you're in silver and black, I am going to support you. So let's give some shout-outs here. We got about 1,000 people watching us live here on YouTube. Andy Rocha, Michael Gonzalez, Daniel Castro, Junior Perez, Madman Raider, Enrique Rodriguez, P. Shooter. Continue to spam those A. And then maybe in about, we'll say 15 minutes or so, we'll do a live Q&A where we can talk about, some of the free agent signings that we've already had. And you can get your live reactions in up here on Eli Apple. So continue to spam those A's in here. How many comments per minute are we at? We're at 259 comments per minute. I think we can get that number up a little bit higher. If you haven't, okay. Oh, all right. I like it. So we just crossed 40K subscribers. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet to celebrate 40K. If you have any, ideas for me, my Instagram, it's below at Mitchell Renz 365. So I have a challenge for y'all. We're at 40,428 current subscribers. The reason why you should subscribe to the show, there's not another Raiders channel out there right now producing more content, quicker content, and I'm just trying to keep you guys up to date as much as possible. So if your notifications aren't on, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, because I was actually pretty surprised. I think I saw only, it was like 54% of the people that watch our shows here are subscribed. So all I ask, scroll on down, click subscribe so you stay up to date. So if we can get 100 new subscribers in the next 2 minutes, okay? The next 2 minutes, the first person that DMs me on Instagram, I'm going to Venmo $5. Does that sound good? So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I want you to click sub. And then as soon as we get to 100, the first person that DMs me on Instagram, let's say 100, I'll Venmo you $5. Appreciate the super chat. We will get to the super chats and the Q&A. So do we have an updated number? Do we have an updated number on the subscribers? Dylan's behind the scene. He's working really, really hard back there. I appreciate everything that he's doing here for this channel. We do have 1,000 people. So we need, 40,439? Wow. Come on, we need 89. We can do it. 89 more subs. If you haven't already subbed to the channel, make sure you click it. We got 1,000 people watching, and I'm sure not all of you are subscribed. So again, make sure if you're watching this on your mobile device, just scroll on down, click that button that says subscribe. Yes, you might have to log into your Google account. You can just do it through Facebook. It's super easy. And also, if you are watching it on desktop, again, scroll on down and click that subscribe button, because right now we are the #1 most watched Raiders channel on YouTube, and I promise you, while this whole thing is going down, we're calling it the Big C now because YouTube's not allowing us to say it. It's impacting our lives, and I just want you all to know that I'm going to keep you up to date. I'm going to keep coming to work every single day because I love the nation and I love you all, so click that subscribe button. The Raiders, some breaking news here. The Raiders have signed Eli Apple, the former first-round cornerback all the way back in 2016. Now, for me, he was a pretty solid player when he first came out of college, and he played with the Giants. He played with the Saints. He really couldn't quite get his feet wet with the Giants, and I think you really start to see him come into his own a little bit more with the Saints. Now, in 51 career games, he started in 51 career games over 4 years, and a lot of people, when I first talked about Eli Apple coming to this team, I think some people were surprised because, again, he's never quite lived up to the hype. And for those of you that do follow PFF, he's really never been a top 60 cornerback in the NFL. So what exactly are you getting? You're going to get some depth here, but there is some upside. And I do trust Mike Mayock, and I do trust Jon Gruden. And I also think it's going to help us just get a little bit more depth to that secondary because last year we were killed by injury. So you go out, you put Eli Apple, you put him with Trayvon Mullen, and then you just got to figure out what else you're going to do with some of those other pieces there with a player like Isaiah Simmons. But he does have some experience playing press man coverage, and he wasn't all that bad last year. A cool stat here, he allowed 0.87 yards per coverage snap and press on outside corner. That ranked 13th in the NFL. So I think if you bring in Apple, you put him on the outside corner. That's where he's best, and that's where we need some help right now. So who do you want the Raiders to sign next? They've been very, very active, and the last time I checked, I woke up this morning, the Raiders had $29.7 million in cap space. We don't quite know the deals or the details yet of this contract for Apple, but I'm going to guess it's going to be around $6, maybe $7 million. I'm hoping it's a one-year kind of prove-it deal. If that were to happen, then you're around $22 million in terms of cap space. So give me a player that you want the Raiders to sign next, okay? Give me a player that you want the Raiders to sign next. We'll give some shout-outs here to some of the peeps in the comments section. What do we got? All right, so we got over 1,100 people. So I see Carl Joseph. I would like for the Raiders to bring back Carl Joseph. I'm on board with that. Worley or Harris. Daryl Worley, I think he's going to want to try to get the bag. He's really going to try to get paid, so I don't really think he's going to come back. I see I think you mean Chris Harris Jr., Miguel. I could see a player like Chris Harris Jr. He is 31 years old. You'd probably move him on the inside. However, I think with this move with Eli Apple, you're not really going to see that one happen. Malik Jones is going to say Xavier Rhodes. I've kind of said it a few times. I don't really want Xavier Rhodes on this team. Guys, I get it. He was a Pro Bowler last year, but he's not quite what he used to be. Emmanuel Sanders is a player that keep your eye on for sure. I'll say if there's a wide receiver that I think is starting to, or that might start getting some buzz here for this team, it's actually Brashard Perriman. Yes, Tom Brady has gone to the Buccaneers. There's a rumor right now that AB might join him. And again, for those of you that might be wondering what Eli Apple's contract is, it's still TBD. We don't quite know what it is yet, just like Marcus Mariota. Once we get the details of it, I promise y'all, I'll update you. But as I look at it right now, I don't have anything coming across me. And I do see the Super Chats. We will get to them. I promise again, that'll be during the live Q&A. So let's see what we got going on here. Continue to get your votes in on who the Raiders should sign next. Who do we got? All right. So how about this? We'll take you through some of the players that have already been signed by the Raiders. We got Corey Littleton, 3 years, $36 million. This was a move that I absolutely loved. Nick Kwiatkowski, 3 years, $21 million. You're looking at 13.5 in guaranteed. We still don't have the contract details yet on Marcus Mariota, so that's making me wonder what exactly they are. Carl Nassib, we brought him in yesterday. He was kind of the late guy that we didn't really cover all too much. So 3 years, 25 mil, up to 17 million guaranteed there. Eli Apple, again, still TBD. And then the Raiders, man, they were pretty active in terms of going out and getting some Cowboys. They got Jason Witten. That deal is up to $4.75 million. However, when I look at the incentives in there, I think we're only going to end up paying Witten probably about $2 million, so just keep that in mind. Maliek Collins, that deal is still TBD. Should not surprise many people. A player that I talked about in bunches considering his connection with Rod Marinelli. And then same with Jeff Heath. I know some people were like, why in the world would we bring in a player like Jeff Heath? I think he's going to be a strong safety, could also play some free safety for us. But Jeff Heath is going to make the biggest impact on this team, mark my words, in special teams. And yes, I do think special teams is a very, very important aspect when you're looking at what a player needs to be able to bring in. So, Jeff Heath, Maliek Collins, Jason Witten, yes, they're Cowboys, but now they're Raiders. So go love them, go appreciate them as if they are our own, because guess what? They are our own, okay? So, Jeff Heath, Maliek Collins, and if you trust in Mike Mayock and everything that we're doing, I want you to type T. I know that the Jason Witten move was kind of peculiar to some people. For me, I'm starting to get behind it a little bit more because for me, I'm looking at the idea of bringing in him because Foster Moreau has modeled his game after him. Also, then you got to think about the idea that Foster Moreau was injured week 11 with that gruesome knee injury. So if we can bring in a player like Witten, I'm on board for that. Jeff Heath, again, special teams. Maliek Collins, I like what they did there. The Eli Apple one, I'm going to have to wait and see. I need to see what the contract details are. All I know is that he is going to be a member of this team. But if you can add some depth and if you can get the most out of a player who was supposed to be, a basic shut-down corner, then we'll see what we got. But as far as I'm concerned, until Mayock gives me a reason not to trust him, I'm going to type my T, and I think everyone who's watching us live right now on YouTube and on Facebook, we got close to 1,300 people watching us live right now. I think as we can all see, everyone trusts us pretty well right here. So if you haven't already, why don't you go give this video a like? I appreciate that. People who support us, what we do here. If you trust in me that I'm going to continue to show up to work every single day, like the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to youtube.com/Raiders Report. So Daniel Barrio says, Mayock is the greatest GM of all time. If you think Mayock is the GOAT, let's start getting some GOATs in the comments. I don't know if I'm going to give him the GOAT status yet in terms of GM, but for what he did last year in the 2019 draft, finding an absolute sleeper in Max Crosby, finding what should have been the Offensive Rookie of the Year in Josh Jacobs, yeah, I have a lot of confidence in somebody like Mike Mayock. Again, if you want to get your questions here on the show, it looks like you're going to use hashtag Raiders. So, Rosanerio, I don't know if you're new to the show, get a picture. Mayock doing his work early, but the draft is where he shines. Exactly. Okay? We are making all these big splashes, plus we still have 5 picks in the top 100. We have a 4th-round pick and now a 5th-round pick. I like what we are doing to our defense. We are building depth at the defense, okay? That's big. And now we can go out and be a little bit more flexible in the draft, and instead of saying, all right, we're drafting a wide receiver at 12, we're drafting a linebacker at 19, now we can be a little bit more relax, and now we can kind of go with best player available, which I still think is the best route that the Raiders should go. What's up, my man, Emmanuel NC? What about Carl Joseph? So Carl Joseph is still out there. I think the important thing to remember here is safety kind of gets pushed down the list of importance when you're looking at free agency. I'll say this. I like Carl Joseph a lot, but I really, really, really want the Raiders, okay, to go out and call the Minnesota Vikings. I want the Raiders to call the Minnesota Vikings and ask for Anthony Harris's price tag, because the last time I heard, it was a mid-round tender. What does that mean? Either 4th or 3rd-round pick. If we can go out and get Anthony Harris for a 4th-rounder, do it in a heartbeat. If we can do it for a 3rd-round pick, honestly, I would do it in a heartbeat. Let's go to Alan. What up, Alan? Mitch, who do you think is the best player the Raiders, or best player on the Raiders, and appreciate the work? I think, honestly, the best player on the Raiders is Rodney Hudson. Rodney Hudson, or maybe you could even look at a player like Trent Brown. I think what Rodney Hudson's been able to do for this offensive line and up the middle has just been remarkable. He's the best pass-blocking center in the entire NFL, and he's one of the biggest reasons why we have one of the nastiest offensive lines in the NFL. Now, if you want to tell me who's the best player that we brought on this free agency period, that one's pretty easy to me. I'm going to go with Corey Littleton. So let's get to 100 new subs. So we are 84 away. We got 40,444. I'll tell you what, I might do something pretty crazy for 44. Dude, there is a beer in there. That's what Dylan's telling me. So Dylan, when Dylan's my producer, that's when beers start getting cracked. That's when Dylan and I have a good time. So he told me if we can get 84 new subscribers in the next 60 seconds, there's a beer out back for me. He's going to go grab it. So I guess I need to wet my whistle. Let's get some creative juices flowing here. So the reasons why you should subscribe to this channel, not just to see some random dude drink a beer on air. You should subscribe because we're going to be giving you the latest Raiders news, rumors. I'm going to be walking you through a lot of the stuff in free agency. The offseason is going to be absolutely crazy. The draft going to be insane. I understand we can't go and party in Vegas like we were hoping, but still, it's going to be a very, very fun thing to watch here. So for me, I promise you that I'm going to keep you guys as up-to-date as possible, so you won't be surprised when a player like Nick Kwiatkowski, you won't be surprised when a player like Corey Littleton gets signed. Those are guys that I had pegged to this team, or even like Maliek Collins. So if you're not already subscribed, scroll on down, click that sub button. Please turn on the notifications so you know exactly when I go live, because right now we got, 1,300 people watching. I appreciate you all very much, and if you bleed silver and black, go subscribe to the Raiders Report. Tell your friends, too. Tell your friends. Let's continue to grow the show. All right, let's go to Alexander De La Roa. Get a pick. After the signings at linebacker, should we draft Judy Lamb at 12 and trade back from 19 to get a late first and early second? I mean, honestly, yeah. The more and more I'm starting to see some of these signings, and the more and more I could potentially, the more mock drafts I do, I'm like, man, I love the players that are there at late first round plus early second round. Like, if you're telling me right now with the players that we went out and got, if you can give me a CD Lamb, a Jerry Jeudy at 12, and then honestly, if we get like a player like a Justin Jefferson or a Denzel Mims, kind of either late first or early second, and then pair him with a linebacker like a Patrick Queen or like a Kenneth Murray, who I do anticipate dropping down to late round 1, yeah, I'm right on board for that. So, Alexander, we're on the same page. Let's go to Matt York. What up, Matt? I was wondering about uniforms too. Hopefully not, but any word. I don't think that the Raiders are going to change their uniforms. And if they do, it's going to kind of be upsetting a little bit. If we do add some gold, I don't think I'll mind it that much. But, like, already, the silver and black Raiders jerseys, like, we have the best jerseys in the NFL. I understand we're moving to Vegas, but there's no real reason to do it. All right, Heritage Plaza. Will the Raiders have a new uniform? That's what he was replying to. I don't think so. If you guys want new unis, type Y for yes, or you can type your N for no. Let's go to Pritz MVP. Our secondary downgraded. We should trade for Anthony Harris now, or we're getting bombed deep every play again. I do still think that we should go in and look at a player like Anthony Harris, and I agree that our secondary. I don't agree that our secondary has been downgraded. Now, for me, before I show you the depth chart, I do think Jonathan Abram is a little bit more of a strong safety, and I think Jeff Heath would be more of the free safety here. So just keep that in mind. You can kind of bounce both back and forth, and I think Eli Apple at this current moment is that cornerback 2 for us, and I think the reason why the Raiders went out and did that, shout out to Dylan for a quick switch, I think the reason why the Raiders went out and got Eli Apple ultimately is because he's his best when he plays press on the outside. What's something that the Raiders need? They needed a corner that could play press on the outside, so you insert him into the lineup, and maybe, with a rotation of, maybe Nixon, Isaiah Johnson, the player that we drafted out of Houston in the 4th round, we can get the best out of that position. Let's go to my man Eduardo, one of my most loyal watchers. What's up, dude? What about Eric Reed? So this is intriguing to me. I know that the Panthers, they let go of Eric Reed after, signing him last year to a 2-year deal. If you want Eric Reed, he's going to be another hard-hitting safety, right? I mean, if you put Reed and Jonathan Abram on the back end, they're going to be laying some wood, all right? I mean, they're going to be absolutely laying some people out. So for me, when I think about all these needs by this team, I like Eric Reed. I like the idea of us, being able to just go out and pick him up now. But again, if there's a player that I want, and you guys could disagree with me if you want, that's what this show's about, I'll go out and I'll give up a 3rd-round pick for Anthony Harris to bring him in at safety, because last year, in my opinion, he was the best safety in the entire NFL. The Minnesota Vikings, they tagged him, but they only put a mid-round tender on him. I will trade a 3rd-round pick for Anthony Harris right now. Right now, instead of going out and getting another safety. But that's between you and me. And again, I like Carl Joseph. I like some other players as well out there. But if we're going after a safety, bring on in Anthony Harris. Let's go to Alan Rangel, Raider Nation for life. Appreciate you watching. Sherris. I think you mean Harris and Heath are going to fight for the start. So I do think that Eric Harris and I do think Jeff Heath will battle it out there for that starting spot. You're also going to see a little bit of a rotation play, but just like Eric Harris, he is such a good special teamer for us. That's what you're going to get in a player like Jeff Heath. I think that's why they brought him in. There was also some connection there with Rod Marinelli and also the Raiders special teams coach. He knows Jeff Heath really well. Let's go to Brandon. What up, Brandon? Get a pick. Everson Griffin to the Raiders. I'm going to say no. One of the reasons is because I don't really think that he's still got too much left in the tank. We'll see. I also think with the move like Carl Nassib, I actually think he's going to play a little bit more of defensive end than what people think, not so much just linebacker. Let's go to Emmanuel NC. What about Joseph, defensive line of the Vikings? I don't really know too much. I haven't really heard anything about him at this current juncture, but we got a lot of stuff going on right now. Let me try to figure some stuff out. I know a lot of people are tuning in because the Raiders signed Apple. If you haven't already subscribed to the Raiders Report, please do. It's youtube.com/Raiders Report. So Emmanuel, Joseph, appreciate you guys tuning in here. And it looks like we're going to be doing some fun stuff here on the show, so make sure you guys are tuned in. We're going to do something that you've never seen before, okay? So if you're a loyal watcher, you'll know that we're about to do something that you have absolutely never seen before. Emmanuel, I appreciate that you're watching. Shout out to you, my man. What's going on? And this is a pretty big signing here for this Raiders team, considering the fact that you're going to now be able to add a little bit of extra depth to that secondary. Let's give a shout out to this Raiders team because you had a lot of needs on defense, and all you've done this entire free agency period is brought in a whole bunch of defensive help. So who exactly is Eli Apple? He was a former first-round pick in 2016, 10th overall. He's played for the Giants and the Saints, and he started 51 games over his 4-year career. So for me, when I think about what this is going to be able to do for this team, for the Raiders, it's going to really be able to help you out in terms of depth. So again, the Raiders, they signed Eli Apple. And again, I want to welcome in. We're doing a simulcast on our main Chat Sports channel. What's going on? That's what the Raiders Report looks like. So Raider Nation, be nice to our main Chat Sports audience as well. But by bringing in Apple, I think you're going to be able to put him next to Trayvon Mullen. One of the things that Apple did really, really well last year was he was able to play outside corner. So according to PFF, he was 13th best in the NFL in terms of yards allowed per coverage snap. What does that mean? He's getting up close to the line, he's jamming dudes, and sure, jamming dudes. That sounds bad. Hopefully YouTube doesn't X me out of that. But in 2016, he wasn't all that great for the Giants, okay? I think that he started to find his own a little bit in 2018 and 2019 with the Saints. Go figure. You're with a better coaching staff. So everyone who's watching right now, I saw pretty mixed emotions here for Apple. I want your one-word reaction to the Raiders signing Eli Apple. And then just a fair warning here. If you're going to say something negative, make sure that his mom doesn't see. Because the last time I checked, Eli and his mom, they're close, and she's not afraid to come after people. So for me, I'm going to say depth. Because I think Apple is depth here. And now you secure Trayvon Mullen as your number one cornerback. And I think you're going to be able to rotate Isaiah Johnson, the player that the Raiders drafted in the 4th round out of Houston in the 2019 draft. You put him together with Apple. You see what you got in Nixon and some of these other players because you need to have depth in the secondary because you're going up against, well, Patrick Mahomes, who, believe it or not, I think is the best quarterback in the NFL, as much as it stings to say. And I think you're also got to see what the Denver Broncos are doing. I think they're going to go out and draft a wide receiver. You need to have a solid secondary. It's something the Raiders just haven't had. So if I had to put together what I think that the depth chart looks like right now for this Raiders team, you have Trayvon Mullen at cornerback 1. Eli Apple, I inserted him at cornerback 2. LaMarcus Joyner, from what it sounds like, they're going to continue to do that experiment at nickel, even though it was an absolute disaster last year. I will also say that he was battling some injuries, so hopefully that turns out better. Jonathan Abram, easily the strong safety. He's going to have an absolute killer year after not missing most of his rookie season. And then you got Jeff Heath and Eric Harris. They're going to battle it out there for that free safety spot. But I'm telling you right now, the Raiders, they are not done making moves, especially in the secondary. So I want you to let me know. All right, so for the people that are watching us on our main Chat Sports channel, what's up? And to the people who are watching us live on the Raiders Report, what's the Raiders' biggest need? Because coming into free agency, I would have said probably linebacker. And now for me, it's wide receiver. We still need to go out and get a number one wide receiver. Now, I've also said that I want the Raiders to address their needs in free agency on defense. That's exactly what they've done. And I wanted them to address their needs in offense in the draft because, well, it's cheaper. So for me, I still want the Raiders to go out and draft some wide receivers because you got pick 12, you got pick 19, and I'm saying it right now. Don't be surprised if the Raiders trade back from 19 to late first, early second. But as I mentioned, they've been active. Like, I'm talking hella active. So Corey Littleton, 3 years, $36 million, absolute steal, best linebacker in all of free agency, in my opinion. You pair him with Nick Kwiatkowski. This is an absolutely stellar pickup here as well. And you add that with Carl Nassib, who I understand Nassib played outside linebacker for the Buccaneers, but he's 6'7". I like this move. They gave him $17 million guaranteed. I will say this, though. There is a part of me that's wondering if Nassib is going to take some snaps away from Cleveland Ferrell, but Nassib also has the ability to play linebacker. What are we looking for in defense? Versatility. Eli Apple, Marcus Mariota, their deals are still TBD. Once we get an update there, I promise you, I'll tell you what's going on. All right, let's go into these other 3 players here for the Cowboys that we brought in. You got Jason Witten on the 1-year, $4.75 million deal, and I know a lot of people were wondering why we did this. I think we did this because we're not quite sure what the knee injury looks like for Foster Moreau. Plus, Moreau, when he found out that Witten was coming to this team, he was ecstatic. And the other reason I love Witten coming here, he's going to teach the young guys, and he's going to help change the culture. Maliek Collins, Jeff Heath, also 2 very solid pickups that have connections with the special teams coach for the Raiders and Rod Marinelli, our new defensive line coach. So who do you want the Raiders to sign next? I'm curious. I'm starting to get to that point where I'm starting to get that itch. And normally when I get an itch that I can't scratch, not the best, can't show you here on screen. But I'm starting to get an itch that I want the Raiders to go out and get a wide receiver. Like, I don't know who it's going to be. But I wouldn't mind maybe a lesser version of a wide receiver like a Laquan Treadwell who can block really well. I mean, if we're going to run the football, why not go out and get Laquan Treadwell, who is a really good run blocker, number 1 wide receiver on Mike Mayock's board in 2016. You could also go out and look at a Tajay Sharp, a solid underneath route runner. I think the most likely wide receiver, though, right now for the Raiders to go out and get is Brashard Perriman. The reason why I say that, I don't think he's going to head back to the Buccaneers. I think he's going to be a free agent, or he's going to sign somewhere else. So for me, if we're going to go out and target an outside wide receiver that's got some speed, I'd be on board with going out and getting Perriman. So we said if we get 100 new subscribers, Dylan's going to run in the back and go find me a nice warm IPA that I can chug. If you guys don't want me to do that, I'll do something else. I got slapped like 7 times yesterday on our main Chat Sports channel. You want me to do jumping jacks? I'll do jumping jacks. You want me to start dabbing all over the place? I'll dab. All right? I want to have fun because I think laughter is the best medicine, and I think talking about the Raiders is the best medicine. And in times like this where the Big C is just kind of screwing everything up, I want to be able to talk to y'all, and I want to be able to have some fun. So let's get to, what? I don't even know. You guys know I'm not good at math. Let's get 100 new subs. Right now we're at 40,457. We are 71 away. This is the time of the year where you should have those noties turned on. This is the time of the year that you should subscribe to the Raiders Report. I know some of you all get mad at me for doing rumors, but let me just say this. Rumors are very, very important, and now we're only 48 away. They're important because you can connect dots. And the reason why I started the whole Chucky head thing is just so if when you see some crazy rumor, just know that it's not from me. It's me just talking about it. So dots, if you want to stay up to date on all your Raiders, everything, I promise you, I'm going to be giving you the information. I'm not going anywhere. The Big C, it's not slowing me down. We have to call it the Big C because apparently YouTube thinks that you guys can't hear the word that's impacting all of our lives because it's too sensitive for this audience. Myris Mark, you haven't watched the Raiders Report very often. All right, let's get into some comments here. Chase Willingham. Chase, if you want me to chug a beer, how about this? I know we've seen some super chats roll across here. I know I've seen that. Let's see how many Instagram followers I got. I'll make you a deal, okay? All right. Dylan's telling me we will give a verbal shout-out to every single one of the super chats that come in. And we'll get them on the show in just a little bit, okay? In just a little bit. So, somebody said, Nick, this one's from Nick, says 10 dabs if he gets the subs. I will do 10 dabs. And I mean like one of these dabs, okay? I don't know. I've been to Cali. Y'all were trying to get me to do some other kind of dabs that I was not on board for. And, hey, I love Oakland. I love tailgating with y'all. Y'all can party. There's no doubt about that. But these are the only dabs that I'm doing, all right? So if we get to the sub marker, we'll do it there. 5559 Raiders says chug a beer. Take a shot of wheatgrass. You know, somebody told me that I should do the hot wings or the hot something challenge. If you guys want me to eat something spicy, I'll do it because I'm not really the best with spicy food. Also, fair warning, okay? Fair warning. When I eat spicy food, sometimes my nose bleeds. I get about 1 nosebleed every day. There's your fun fact about Mitch that maybe you guys never knew about. So it's not the best. So, all right, what's up, Chris? Appreciate you. Mitch was going to be tapped out of the dabs. Chris, you're not the only one that knows what I'm talking about here. So, all right, let's get some questions rolling in. Make sure that you're using hashtag Raiders. So we got my man Taz, 637143. Like it. What about Emmanuel Sanders? So when I first did my top free agent targets at the wide receiver position, I had Emmanuel Sanders as the most realistic number 1 target for us because Amari Cooper, come on, get out of here. Sanders would fit this offense, I think, perfectly. I mean, I'm being honest. I think he fits exactly what Jon Gruden's trying to do. I think he fits exactly what we want in a wide receiver for Carr. I just don't know what his market's looking like right now, and I'm actually pretty surprised how silent it's been for all the wide receivers. Personally, I think that teams don't want to go out and sign these wide receivers because the draft is so deep. So for that reason, I will say this. I think the prices are going to start coming down here for some of the wide receivers. Let's go to Austin. Austin, you know what you need to do. Get a pick. Okay. Why don't we trade Carr and one of our firsts? The only way I'm trading Carr and one of our firsts is if we get like a whole bunch in return. And I don't really know what that's going to be at this current juncture. But if we give up a first-round pick, the only way I want to give up a first-rounder, honestly, is if we can go up and snag a player like Isaiah Simmons or maybe like a Jeff Okudah if one of those guys slide down the board a little bit. But I don't really see why we're trading Carr. I get that we went out and got Mariota, but he's going to be a backup, okay? And maybe that's why they're holding out the the contract details a little bit. But once they come out, and if they're about $6 million, because that's what Case Keenum got, I'll be okay with it. But no, I'm not on board right now to go out and trade Derek Carr. I'm seeing a lot of people say trade for Slay. I don't want Slay either. I know some people do. I don't want to give up a first-round pick plus pay Slay over $15 million. I'm good on that. Let's go to Jeff. What up, Jeff? Do you feel comfortable with Mariota backing up DC? I do. I like the idea because I think it's going to push Derek. I mean, this is the first time, realistically, Derek actually has somebody that's going to push him a little bit. Plus, I think Mariota is going to scare some defensive coordinators. I mean, you have to be able to account for his legs. And one of the biggest reasons why I think that this move makes even more sense is if we got to pick up one tough yard, if we got to go with that goal-to-go situation, don't be surprised if Mariota comes on the field because that adds a lot of ability for a player like Jacobs. I want you to go back last 10 years, okay? Go back and look at the last 10 years on what a mobile quarterback is able to do for the running game. It helps out an absolute ton because our problem last year really wasn't getting to the red zone. It was converting in the red zone. So that's a really important thing to note. Looks like we got a super chat rolling in here from Peter Silva. Yeah, I did see this one come across. Chris Harris is signing with the Chargers, and this is pretty surprising to me. I was surprised that he was going to go to an AFC West team, not the Raiders. But, hey, we know what we got in Chris Harris. We know what we're going to have to do to go up against him. The AFC West is getting better, but, I mean, it's not like anybody's going to watch Chris Harris play. I mean, if Chris Harris just wanted to be a Raider, I mean, I've been to Chargers games. There ain't nobody there. Let's go to Kenneth, laying that his last name. Freeman backing up Josh Jacobs. I'm going to say no. Devonta Freeman, to me, is just not healthy anymore. The knees, they're banged up, and I think you're probably going to have to pay him $3 million, $4 million a year. I'm good on that. If you're looking for a running back like a Devonta Freeman, let's say, like a little bit undersized, who can catch the football, I don't know why we would because we already went out and got Jalen Richard for 2 years, $7 million. I would rather have a player like Dion Lewis over Devonta Freeman. Let's go to another question rolling in here, and make sure that you're using hashtag Raiders. And just about, I don't know, maybe 43 minutes ago, the Raiders, they went out and they signed Eli Apple. That's why we're doing a live show, and the Raiders Report is all about live interaction. Let's go to Sonny. Would you take Tua at 12 if he's there? If Tua is there at 12, it means he's not healthy. Because there's no way Tua slides past 12. There's no way, honestly, Tua slides past 6. Like, I get that the Chargers say they're okay with going to Rod Taylor. I'd be shocked if they passed on Tua. The Miami Dolphins, if he gets by them at 5, I mean, I'm telling you what, then there's going to be some crazy stuff going on in this draft. So between you and me, no, I'm not taking Tua at 12 because if he goes there, to me, he's not healthy. Let's go to Steven. Mitch, how hyped are you for the 2020 season for Chucky Heads? I'll tell you what. The Corey Littleton signing got me super hyped. And if you're super hyped for the season, I want you to type 4, okay? Because I do think this season's going to be a lot of fun. And I also want to give a special shout-out to all the workers that are still working on the Las Vegas Stadium. One of my friends, he sent me a picture on Twitter. Let me see if I can give him a shout-out here real quick if I can get it to load up. So Lionel Michael Jr., his Twitter handle is at 88Illuminati88. He sent me a picture of all the people still working on the stadium. Like, I get the Big C has really kind of screwed things up for a lot of people, but our team is still trying to get this stadium up and running. So shout out to them. Shout out to everyone who's going to be tailgating. I'm going to be at a lot of Raiders games this year, so I want you to type 4 right now, okay? I don't know how many comments per minute we got on this bad boy. We got over 1,600 people watching us live right now on the show, and I appreciate everyone who's tuned in. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do. So right now we got 33.5 comments per minute. Let's get this up to like 1,500. I think we can do it, okay? I think we can get to 1,500. So everyone who's watching right now, if you just type 4 one time, that's all you got to do is type 4 one time. If you want to type it a few more times, hey, it helps me out. But I got a bet going on with my boss right now, and he told me for $5, he's going to give me $5, okay? $5 if we hit 1,500 comments. Let's do it. We can do it. Come on. 1,500 comments. I need $5. I need $5. And how about this? I'll give the $5 to the first person. If you haven't followed me yet on Instagram, we'll do it that way. So let's get the 1,500 comments first. Once we hit that goal, first person to DM me the number 5 on Instagram, at Mitchell Renz 365, I'll send you $5 via Venmo. If you don't know what Venmo is, Mom, get with the program. So currently we're at 68. While the number updates, producer Dylan, he's going to get it for us here. So just stay tuned. The last number that I personally saw was 100. Okay, cool. So let's keep pumping it up. This one just got bumped now to 325. I want you to be loud. I want you to pretend that we're at the stadium. I want you to pretend that it's like 4th down right now, okay? Keep typing 4. Just keep typing 4, okay? I'll keep my 4 up. It's 4th down, but they're inside. They're getting close to the black hole. They're not scoring, all right? I know how loud y'all can be. So I want you to type like you're screaming. So get the 4s in there. We'll give some shout-outs as well, okay? We'll give some shout-outs. Code to Boss, David, Matthias. We got Kelly Nicholson, Richie Rich 916. Who else is in here? Raul Corona, Car Detailing. We're at 569. Hey, that's a really nice number. Let's keep it going. Jason Williamson, Jay Raiders, Natural Highs. What else? We got Chatty Peretti, Jay Gonzalez, 1091, Jerome King, Cameron K.O. Hi. Keep them coming. Come on. $5. I need that $5 in my life. We got 569 comments per minute. We got how many people watching us live? 1,634. Y'all can do it. We got 20 more seconds. If we don't get it, it's all good. I'm seeing 888.5. Okay. We're almost there. Almost there. If I got to start doing it, I will. I will. Got to get loose. Maybe Dylan should get in the comments. You guys want Dylan to help you out? All right, ready? Dylan's going to help out. This is Dylan. Dylan's got good fingers, as you can tell. All right, 1334. Dylan, update the number. Update the number. I need proof. Guys, we got 10 more seconds. Come on. Pound the 4s in there. Pound the 4s in there. We're at 13. Come on, we're almost there. We're almost there. James, you hear this? You got this? Go get that $5. We're getting it. The nation's got my back, okay? The nation's got my back. Come on. Come on. Type 4. Dylan's in there. We're almost there. We're almost there. Pump it up. Pump it up. It's free agency, baby. 1729. All right, the first person that DMs me the number 5 on Instagram, at Mitchell Renz 365, you're getting $5 from me on Venmo. So hurry up. At Mitchell Renz 365. Okay? I'll check it out after the show. Hurry up. Go give me a follow. At Mitchell Renz 365. We hit 1729. That's what I mean, dude. Like, we do a lot of shows here at Chat Sports, and I know some people were getting mad that we were talking about Tom Brady yesterday. Believe it or not, this is my full-time job, and when you guys do stuff like this, that shows my bosses, that the Raider Nation, that we deserve shows every week. Heck, we just hit 2,212 comments per minute. That might be a record on the show. That might be a record on the show. That's what's up. Much love to y'all. All right, if you haven't already subscribed to the show, please do it. This is your time. Hey, making it rain. Making it rain. Oh, God. Got him. All right, appreciate y'all very much. If you haven't already subscribed to the show, please do. We are 28 away. 28 more subs. We'll chug up here. We're doing some free agency. We're having some fun. I appreciate y'all very much. That was my boss, James. Go give James a follow at James T. Yoder on Twitter. He posts a lot of stuff. What? Oh, it's just James Yoder now. Hopefully I don't get fired for that. Go follow him at James Yoder. You can see a lot of the other stuff we post here on Chat Sports. So appreciate you all very much. Again, I'll send you a Venmo, $5. We'll get it going. If you want me to give this one to Dylan, it's all you. Oh, sorry. We'll reach for the other one. Where'd I go? Picking up money. Here, that's what we're doing here at Chat Sports. All right, so we'll be serious. We got 1,538 people watching. The reason why you should subscribe to our channel is because I promise you I'm going to keep you as up-to-date as possible on all things Raiders. So if you bleed silver and black, if you're going to be a diehard Raider fan, that sounds weird. If you are a diehard Raider fan, just check out the channel. We found out that only about 54% of the people that watch our show are subscribed. So what does that mean? If you're not subscribed, please do. What number are we at now? We're 14 away. So 14 away. So we can hit it right now. Dylan told me if we get 14 new subs in the next minute, he's going to run into the other room. He's going to go into my gym bag, and he's going to get me a warm IPA. Because that's where it is, in my gym bag. Because you got to hydrate after the gym. You got to hydrate. Wow, I just missed twice with that dollar bill trying to hit him in the head. So, yes, I still see a lot of 4s. Where are my diehard fans at? Let's get them there. Appreciate you, Derek Carr. Again, I don't know how many people normally watch what we do here, but we've put out, man, I don't know. I mean, I think I've been live now for probably close to 30 hours over the last 3 days. Like, I know the whole Big C thing is kind of scary, but I promise you, I'm going to keep you as up-to-date as possible on all things Raiders, okay? On all things Raiders. We'll talk about the draft. We'll talk about free agency. So if you're on your phone, if you're on your desktop, scroll on down right now and click that subscribe button. We're 10 away. You want to see producer Dylan chug a beer? Oh, Dylan's saying no, me. Okay. All right, how about this? We'll come back to it because I want to ask questions. I don't want people to leave. So if you have a question, use hashtag Raiders in the comments section below, and we will discuss. So while the questions are rolling in, let's see how many diehard Raider fans we got, all right? So if you're a diehard Raider fan, type Raider Nation for life. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to see who are the diehard Raider fans. And I'm going to click on your profile, and I'm going to see if you subscribe to the channel. If I find somebody that's not, I'm fining you. Dylan's telling me that we just hit our goal. All right, we hit our goal. Appreciate you. So let's get those questions rolling in. Use hashtag Raiders. Get your questions here on our show. I'll do my best to answer them, and the way that I'll do this is Dylan, he's going to go run and grab me that beer out of my gym bag. So we did it. Appreciate y'all. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. Dylan's running to go grab that beer for me. As you'll see, he's literally going to walk on screen now. So stay tuned. We're going to drink the beer, and the way that we'll do this is this. Every single time I tell y'all to get a picture, you take a drink if you're over 21. And every single time that I misread something, I'm going to take a drink. So we're going to play a little bit of a drinking game. So instead of me just chugging this, we're going to play a drinking game. But you got to be over 21. And I know for some people, James is going to get it because apparently he's the guy that makes it rain here. For those of you that are just now tuned in, for those of you that are watching, we will play a drinking game. I won't chug it, so we'll sustain the beer from a long process.
Is this thing on? Congratulations, 100. You guys.
I was throwing it to Dylan. I don't know where it went. So go give James a follow at James Yoder on Twitter. Or you can follow me on Instagram for a chance to win $5. All right, let's get into some questions now. Make sure that you're using hashtag Raiders. And again, every single time that I say get a picture, if you're watching at home and you got one open and you're over 21, you take a sip. So, Cali Alpha, get a picture. All right, what about Jadeveon Clowney? Let's crack this open. What about Jadeveon Clowney? For me, I mean, you got to be looking at giving him probably 20, 21 million. I'll be honest. I don't think I want to pay 20, 21 million for a player who takes plays off, plus has never had a 10-plus sack season. Call me crazy. Would he be an upgrade? Sure. But we already went out and got Carl Nassib, who I think right now is going to play a lot more defensive end than what people think. He's 6'7", 245 pounds. This is Nassib. And for Clowney, I ain't paying that much money. All right, Moises, get a pick. Yo, you guys are going to be drunk by just halfway through this. How many interceptions will Mullen have this year? I'll ask you before I give my answer. Let me get a sip. How many interceptions for Mullen this year? I'm going to go with 2. And the reason why I'm going to go with 2 is because I think as you saw later on down the year, he can cover. But let's make this point. Interceptions don't always mean that you're doing a great job at cornerback. They also don't mean that you're doing a bad job. Byron Jones, the number 1 cornerback on the free agent market, 0 interceptions. Why? Teams didn't throw at him. And right now, I think Mullen is our best corner, so teams might not target him as often. But I'm going to go with 2. Let's go to Daniel. What up, Daniel? Using hashtag Raiders, do you think the Raiders will make it to the playoffs? As of right now, you guys are going to get mad at me for saying this. I'm going to say no. However, I get it. Our schedule's a lot easier. 7 teams now make it in the AFC. We still need to add talent at wide receiver. Now, if we go out in the draft and we have a solid draft like I know we can, I'll say yes. But at this current moment, I will say no. We still need to add some talent at wide receiver, and I think in the draft, we're able to do that. So, how about this? Predict the Raiders' record in 2020. As it stands right now, I'll probably say 8-8. Yes, our defense has been much improved, but if we don't improve our offense, okay, we're not going to win a lot more games. I want this Raiders team to make the playoffs, and I think that with more talent on the offensive side of the football, we can. Now, if we go out and we get a CeeDee Lamb, we get another wide receiver in free agency possibly, or even in the draft, I do think that really helps us get to that maybe 10, 11 wins. Because right now our offense is what's hurting us. So I'm seeing a lot of 10-6. I'm seeing a lot of 11-5. Do I think 10-6, 11-5 is realistic after the draft? Yes. But at this current moment, I'm going to go with let's go 9-7. Okay? Let's go 9-7. I understand that Eli Apple, some people aren't happy. Peter's telling me to F off. I do this show to be honest with you. And, I mean, I think you have to be honest with yourselves. Right now, our offense isn't playoff caliber. Can it be playoff caliber? Absolutely. We still got to address some players and address some needs on that offense side of the football. So, to get your questions here on the show, you got to use hashtag Raiders. So, Death, XX Star, XX. Mad Max will have 10-plus sacks in 2020. I can get on board with that. I mean, he had 10.5 sacks this past year. I will also say this. With 10 sacks from Crosby, remember, he barely played early on in the year, okay? And I get a lot of people that say, oh, Mitch, there's no way he's going to hit 10 again because he had 4 against the Bengals. I think 10 sacks is a realistic possibility. Now, if you ask Max, he'd probably tell you 30. So if you haven't seen that interview yet, Crosby said he's going for 30 sacks. If Max Crosby gets 30 sacks this year, I am going to send some random dude $100 on Venmo. You know what, Max? I'll send somebody $98 and a Crosby jersey. Because if he gets 30 sacks, we're going to the Super Bowl. That'd be insane. Let's go to Jer. Jer, get a picture. Everyone take a drink that's over 21. Diehard Raider fan here. Also diehard fan of yours, Mitch. Appreciate you. What safety do we go after in free agency or trade for to the next start to Abram? I think in terms of who we're going to go after, I don't know if he's on the roster yet. Now, according to our depth chart, according to what I think right now you're going to split time between Jeff Heath, and I think that you're also going to split time between Eric Harris. I think that's it right now. However, don't be surprised if we do bring back Carl Joseph on a 1-year prove-it deal. But if we could go out and actually get somebody via trade, I still will continue to pound my fist on the table for a player like Anthony Harris of the Vikings. Give up a 3rd-round pick. Go get him. What up, Miguel? Why can't we go for Cooks from the Rams to help Carr? I mean, we could. The issue is I don't know if I want to pay Brandon Cooks. I think he's making $16.2, $16.5 million right now. Is he a top 10 receiver? I don't know if he is. And for me, I'm not paying a top receiver or somebody that's not in the top 10, $16.5. If we wanted to go out and get a receiver, we should have traded for Stephon Diggs, because Stephon Diggs to me is a better receiver than Brandon Cooks. And with a draft class that's so deep, I don't want to give up draft capital for somebody that I got to pay $16.5 to. Sorry. Appreciate you, though. Jordan. What up, Jordan? What was the Raiders' biggest move or mistake? Biggest move so far in free agency is Corey Littleton. So that 3-year, $36 million. The biggest mistake, I don't know if we actually have a mistake yet. I think the most surprising move to me was going out and getting a Jason Witten, because I didn't really expect it. But then when I listened to a lot of the things that I've seen some players say on the Raiders, like when Jason Witten got signed, Foster Moreau went on his Instagram and said how excited he was that he gets to pick the brain of Witten. I mean, think about it. If you're a rookie tight end, you're going to be able to pick the brain of one of the greatest tight ends in NFL history. Plus, if you're really trying to change a culture, whether or not Witten can play right now, and honestly, I want him on the sidelines more than I want him on the field, because if he's taking snaps away from Waller, if he's taking red zone looks away from Moreau, I'll be upset. But if you're trying to change a culture, whether you like Witten or not, he's been one of the best professionals in NFL history. Like a guy who plays every single game, a guy who shows up every single week and does the right things. That's why I like the Witten move. So which Raider move surprised you guys the most? Let me know in the comments section. Which move surprised y'all the most? Throw it in there. We'll give some shout-outs, and then I got something special for you coming up, so don't go anywhere. So which move surprised you the most? I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. We'll give some shout-outs. Derek Carr says, Producer Dylan, love what you guys do. Shout out to Dylan. Eli Apple and Jason Witten. I know that's what I'm going to get here. Nick Kwiatkowski, I wasn't too surprised about that. I predicted that. I would say right now it's like split between Witten and Apple. So let's play a game. W for Witten, A for Apple. So which Raiders move surprised you more, okay? A for Apple, W for Witten. A for Apple, W for Witten. So I'm seeing a lot of W's now. See, I'm always a believer if you're not good at trying to decide what you want in life, flip a coin. Because while it's midway up in the air, you'll know what you want. Pro tip. So W for Witten or A for Apple. What do we got here? We got over 1,400 people watching us live on YouTube. Julian says W. Jamie says A. Raider Nation says W. Jacob Ra Rivera, W. And then Jacob Serb. They're going to go with A. So which move surprised you the most? I'll give you something that surprised me. The fact that this t-shirt right now is actually trending as one of the most popular t-shirts in the world. So chatsports.com/RaidersWorld. And I have a special offer for you, okay? Right now, if you go to this link, chatsports.com/RaidersWorld, normally this t-shirt is $24.99. Got an even better deal for you. You can save 20% up to Friday, okay? So this shirt right now is only $19.99. Chatsports.com/RaidersWorld. But you got to use promo code TRADE, okay? So only $19.99 is this Raiders Against the World t-shirt. But you got to use promo code TRADE at checkout. So for those of you that forget the link, it's chatsports.com/RaidersWorld. We'll put it in the descriptions. We'll put it in the comment section below. So if you want this shirt, go to the link below. Again, it is only $19.99 and use promo code TRADE. This deal ends on Friday. But the way that they've been going off the shelves quick. So take advantage of it before they're all sold out. I don't know if you're going to find a better deal under $20 for Raiders Against the World t-shirt. Let's go to my man Noah. Noah is one of my most loyal watchers. Noah, I'll throw you a bone here. Can you review all the signings we have done and contracts? I've been in Las Vegas for the past week and have not been able to keep up. Noah, I got you. Corey Littleton, 3 years, $36 million. We decided to give him $23 million, I believe, off the top of my head in terms of guaranteed money. Nick Kwiatkowski, he's the one that got the dominoes rolling here. 3 years, $21 million. In terms of guaranteed money, we gave him $13.5. Marcus Mariota, we don't know the terms of that deal quite yet. Carl Nassib, he got 3 years, $25 million. Look for him to play linebacker and defensive end for this team. $17 million guaranteed. And then the most recent was Eli Apple. The terms of that contract are still TBD. But then yesterday we got 3 Cowboys, like all in a real quick minute. So Jason Witten, 1 year, $4.75. But when you look at the contract incentives, I actually think that Witten's going to be a little bit more around $2, maybe $3 million, not so much the $4.75. Maliek Collins, that one's still TBD. And then Jeff Heath, 2 years, $8 million. I like this move. It adds depth. I think you're going to get a player who's a lot like Eric Harris, but especially Jeff Heath in terms of special teams play. That's why I really, really like that move for the Raiders. Let's go to my man, 559 Raider. Congrats on 40K, Mitch. Bro. Shout out to all of the nation because, yes, I did just hit 40K subscribers yesterday, and I don't know what I'm going to do yet to celebrate. Probably once free agency slows down a little bit because, to be honest with you guys, when a player signs, we just get graphics, we do everything, and we try to get live as quick as possible. That's our goal here. I do normally go live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, so I don't know what I'm going to do yet. It'll be awesome. When I hit 10K, I dyed my hair. 20K, I gave away some tickets. 30K, we did Edwards 40 hands. You guys, I've seen some people ask if I'll do a Hot Meats challenge. Maybe once the Big C slows down a little bit, we'll get to it. But producer Dylan, shout out to you. That's what I was going to say. Let's grow the nation, okay? Let's continue to grow this fan base. Let's continue to grow this family. And if you haven't already subscribed yet, please do. This is my full-time job. This is how I pay my bills. This is how I put food on my table, my mom's table, a roof over my head. So I appreciate it very, very much. For those of you that don't know, yes, I did just move. So with the Big C right now, I am able to walk to work. And I promise you, I will continue to make videos. Let's grow the fam. Just know that I appreciate you all very, very much. Cheers to everyone who subscribes. Let's go to Daryl, or Darren. Hey, Mitch, I've been watching since 2K. You mean the year 2000? I'm kidding. No, since 2,000 subscribers. It's pretty crazy. I mean, last year at this time, I bet you this YouTube channel had 5K subscribers. We've been growing quick. It's because the nation's loud. I've heard y'all, and I appreciate y'all. Let's go to PDog006. Make out with 40 Cougars, bro. 40,000 Cougars. I think if I did that, I have started dating somebody. If I did that, I think my current girlfriend would literally kill me. So maybe an actual cougar. I have a better chance of kissing an actual cougar, 40,000 of them, than bringing in a cougar. But if you want to meet Alex, she's on my IG at Mitchell Renz 365. What's Apple's stats? Watch this. Oh, mind-blowing. So in 2019, he had 58 tackles, 4 pass breakups, 0 interceptions. 2018, I do think, was his best year, where I think you started to see him get into his own a little bit more as that outside cover corner. But he still has never quite lived up to the hype. And I think when you draft somebody 10th overall in the NFL draft, you obviously hope for a little bit more production. Hopefully, he can finally live up to some of the hype and on this Raiders defense. Let's go to Devon. What up, Devon? I would still, for Simmons to be our Sam linebacker, push. Okay, push. I would still push for Simmons to be our Sam linebacker. If you're going to go up and get Isaiah Simmons, I think you honestly got to give up pick 12 and 19. I know some people might think I'm crazy for saying that, but if you go to the trade chart, 12 and 19 is basically what it's going to take to get into the top 5. Isaiah Simmons, to me, if you want to lock him up, you got to go in the top 5. I will say this, though. I think Justin Herbert, I think Tua, I think Joe Burrow, they go in the top 5 or 6, which then leaves for Isaiah Simmons, Jeffrey Okudah, 2 other players that I think go high. Plus you got Chase Young. Those, in my opinion, are the top 6 picks. So if you want one of those, you got to give up 12 and 19. For me, I don't want to do that. Let's go to Infamous, right? Now that Hopkins has traded the Cardinals, does CD fall to us at pick 12? I will say this. The fact that now the Cardinals are probably out of the market on wide receiver does make me believe that we are almost guaranteed to have either Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb staring at us in the face at pick 12. So just get ready, because if both of them are there, we'll be really, really excited for that. So I got a burp. That's part of it. Let's go to Steve. What up, Steve? Mitch getting rusty. I need a pick drink. All right, I told you, every single time you guys don't have a pick, and I got to say get a pick, you're going to take a drink with me. We got a super chat. What up, my man? 07 Hog Dog. Also, I drink for every super chat, just so you know. Can we cut Jason Witten without a cash penalty? No. As far as I know right now, that's not likely. I think that you're going to see Jason Witten come in and just be depth. I don't know how healthy Foster Moreau is right now, and honestly, we're not going to know for a little bit because teams can't obviously go out and give physicals to players because of the whole the big C. Appreciate the super chat. Cheers to you. Every single super chat that comes in from here on out, I'm taking a drink. Nick, get a pick, take a drink. Ha, Clinton Dix or nah? Or nah. I don't want to say I like Clinton Dix because that's something Monica would say, and I feel like I can't say that on YouTube. Clinton Dix is one of my top safety targets for this Raiders team, and if you're curious on who some of those players were, go back and check the top safeties that could potentially replace Carl Joseph, I believe is the title name on YouTube. Check it out. It's on the channel. It's youtube.com/Raiders Report. Take a drink. I need the 4 Chucky Head shirt. Hashtag 4 Chucky Heads. Believe it, baby. I'll make you a deal. If anybody wants the 4 Chucky Head shirt, this is the way you got to do it. So, Dylan, I want you to make up this weigh-in real quick. You got to DM and follow at James Yoder on Twitter. Okay? So I've had the 4 Chucky Head shirt before, but I don't know how many we got, and I'm not the one that made them. So I'll give credit to the guy that made it. Go follow James Yoder on Twitter at James Yoder and slide in his DMs and say, hey, man, I want a 4 Chucky Head shirt. Okay? We're getting it made up. I'll put it up on screen. So if you want the 4 Chucky Head shirt, what I want you to do is I want you to go DM James Yoder on Twitter and give him a follow. He's at James Yoder, okay? He's the guy that's got the shirts. So don't ask me, ask him. Go bother him about it. So go give James a follow on Twitter at James Yoder. He's the guy. If it wasn't for him, you wouldn't even see a Raiders Report show. So go support him. He does a lot here. He's the guy that owns Chat Sports. So he's got the Chat Sports shirts. He's got the 4 Chucky Head shirts. So if you want a Chucky Head shirt, go follow him on Twitter at James Yoder and then go slide in his DMs. Sound good? Take a screenshot, post it so everyone knows. Let's go to Matthew Jordan. What are the best available free agents the Raiders could sign? I mean, if you're looking at on the offensive side of the football, I would say it's Emmanuel Sanders, Brashard Perriman. You could look at a player like a Tajay Sharp being a pretty interesting player, Laquan Treadwell as well. And then on defense, I still think Carl Joseph is one of the top guys out there. I'm thinking of some other cornerbacks here. My mind's going a little bit blank. Let me look up some other guys real quick. Give you a little bit better of a name. Mackenzie Alexander is somebody you could monitor. Brian Poole left today. Prince Amukamara is a name to monitor. Let's see. Darquez Denard would be interesting. He's another guy I would say at least keep your mind on. But in terms of offense, I think it's Emmanuel Sanders and it's Brashard Perriman.